The year is 2011. I'm a middle school boy and my life revolves around games and junk food. Needless to say, I was a very unhealthy kid. But that didn't matter because all my friends and I all played games, and of course, during that time, we were heavily on Call of Duty. To be specific, Black Ops and other PlayStation games such as Blur and Assassin's Creed. Now, the usual routine after school was for me to eat, then proceed to play some games for the rest of the time until it was time for bed, for the most part, aside from homework and other chores. Now, if you were lucky enough to play Black Ops 1 during its prime, then you knew the hype behind zombies and the multiplayer. It was all about the Easter eggs. If I had to relate the experience that it brought me, I could say it was close to Ready Player One in terms of the Easter egg hunting. Every day, my friends and I would talk about theories and geek over what insignificant clue meant and what possible DLC would lead to. Ascension DLC was out, and every day the community would find more and more clues to unravel the history behind the game. We would spend literal hours grinding on zombie maps trying to find the more clues or get real competitive multiplayer trying to get those quick no-scopes. I could go on and on about Black Ops 1, but this video is about a bigger topic because from here, it all went downhill. You see, for us, there was no warning. We were oblivious to any news on the PlayStation Network, nor did we keep up on any forums or news outlets. To us, it was deemed as a cursed Wednesday. The day started off as any other day. We all went throughout the school day normally. During lunch, we bantered around about school and other cringy middle school material. Finally, after getting home and nabbing whatever was on the table, I went to go sign in to my PS3. As usual, I would give it a minute or two before it would sign me in, and then I kept waiting. Now, after waiting patiently for 8 minutes or so, I went to go sign in manually. As the PS3 went down checking all the boxes of the Wi-Fi, I stopped momentarily at the PlayStation Network box, and it failed to connect. Now, at that moment, I dismissed it as an odd occurrence, and that would be easily fixed if I just started it over again with restarting my modem. After trying several times, I started thinking it was for real. I was getting a little nervous, but not completely lost for all hope. I decided to check with my friends and see if they signed into the PSN. After waiting for a couple minutes, one of my friends told me he couldn't. In the span of an hour or so, we all figured out that none of us could sign in, and there was a huge hack apparently, and it broke the whole network down. Needless to say, we went through all the forums and all the news and articles to see when it would be back. In the most hopeful, delusional dream, we thought it would be back anytime soon, at most the next day morning. So we stuck to playing some local games at my friend's house during the rest of the day. As the night drew closer, we had no luck, so we all went home full of sadness as if the world was ending. Skip forward to the next week, nothing. Nothing at all. It felt as if there was nothing else to do but wait. Hopelessly. My friends and I started talking about things that we normally didn't talk about, like homework or trying to play some Wii bowling. Okay, now time for some actual info on the event and what happened. Sony in 2011 got hacked by a collective group of anonymous hackers named Lusec, something like that, I believe. The hack was so big that it put over 100 million personal accounts at risk. Sony scrambled trying to control it and fix it. PlayStation Network was down for over about 23 days, and they reportedly lost over $107 million over just that month. No matter what company that is, not to put a dent in anyone's wallet. Okay, back to the story. So after a couple weeks, we had no choice but to go back to our Xbox. We had one friend that had one, so as anyone with no hope, we went to the next best thing. We tried to play the game as sparingly as possible so everyone could get a fair chance to play. But we started to see how heavily we were tied down for the gaming. For a small time that we didn't care about games, we just wanted to hang out. I started to see that nobody, it didn't matter what games we played, even if the bad ones. I still had a good time with my friends. But around May, it was announced that the PSN was coming back. We were excited, but by then I had a different perspective on how games affected me because during that break, I had some actual clarity, some peace of mind, from all the Easter egg hunting and all the game-inducing rage from multiplayer battles. Of course, I still played video games, but at that point, I started to see how much I invested into games and how much of my time it took out of my day. So I started to cut back a bit naturally. Looking back at it now, I can't imagine how people would be affected nowadays from a huge network being taken down abruptly, like Fortnite. I mean, I remember seeing the Fortnite crash. It was not the crash, but the whole Easter egg thing. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video or just found it somewhat interesting, or if you just happen to skip to this part, I hope you have a good day and thank you for watching.